Good morning, Braywick Court School. What are we going to do today? Learn, enjoy, succeed. Now, welcome to today's assembly. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of June, and I've had to find some new locations for filming assemblies now that we are all back in school. So welcome to my office with my lovely window. Right, we have been working on Aesop's Fables, haven't we? And we've read lots of different fables so far. Today we're going to think about a fable which talks about greed. So the fable today that I'm going to read you is The Goose That Laid the Golden Eggs. Deep in the woods stood a little cottage. It was so tumble down, it looked as if it were growing back to the ground. Ivy encrusted the walls, flowers sprouted out of the roof, and mice ran in and out of the door. Inside, on a straw-covered floor, sat a snow-white goose, cackling away as she laid an egg. A man rushed into the room. "At last!" he cried. "We can have supper!" His wife brought out the frying pan and placed it over the fire, while the man slid his hand under the goose's soft, fluffy down. His fingers closed over something cold and hard. A stone? He sighed as he pulled it out. The object was shaped like an egg, only heavier, harder. "What is it?" asked his wife. "I don't know," the man replied. He carried it over to where a ray of sunlight came streaming in through a hole in the roof. The object glittered. They gasped. "It couldn't be." "It is! It really is!" cried the man. "Gold!" they shouted gleefully together. "A golden egg!" "But how?" asked the man, and he looked from the shiny, sparkly egg to the little white goose in wonder. "Never mind how," said his wife. "We must go straight to market in the morning and sell it. We're going to be rich! Rich!" And they began to dance around the room, singing and laughing for joy. At first light, the man set out through the woods, the egg in his pocket, humming a giddy tune. He wandered through the hustle and bustle of the market until he found what he wanted, a rickety stall with a large set of scales. An old man sat behind the counter calling, "Get money for your gold. I'll give you a good price. Money for your gold." How much would I get for this?" said the man, taking the golden egg out of his pocket and placing it on the scales. The old man raised his eyebrows. He picked up his magnifying glass. "Remarkable," he said, studying it more closely. "Pure gold, and it's been made to look exactly like an egg. I've never seen anything like it." He pulled out bag after bag of coins and handed them to the man. As if in a dream, the man floated from the stall to stall, buying everything he wanted and lots of things he didn't want just because he could. He bought dresses for his wife, a suit for himself, jewels, flowers, furniture and food. He bought so much there was no way he could carry it all, so he spent the last of his money on a donkey and a cart. He loaded up his goods and he rode home in triumph. His wife was delighted. She tried on dress after dress and twirling round, she admired herself in the new mirror they had. And then they sat down together and gorged on delicious food of quail's eggs and caviar, fine wine and exotic fruit. As the meal drew to a close, the woman sighed with disappointment. "I want more," she said hungrily. "More food?" said the man in amazement, thinking of all they'd just eaten. "No, more money," said his wife, her eyes glinting. "I want enough money to live in a fine house and eat like this forever. I want to sleep on silken sheets and eat from golden plates and have jewels dripping from my fingers." They both looked at the goose hopefully, and she began to cackle. They froze, hardly daring to breathe. Did she? Could she have? The man wondered. With trembling hands he reached under the goose. His heart sang as he could feel the cold, hard shape of another golden egg. After that, the goose laid a new golden egg every day. The man and his wife grew rich and fat. They left their little cottage and bought a grand house and as many grand things as they could put in it. It had servants by the dozen, thick velvet carpets, fountains in the garden and walkways studded with jewels. But the more they had, the more they wanted. I need a team of 20 white horses pulling a silk-lined carriage, said the woman, and I'm bored with all these dresses. I want to buy some more this very minute. But our goose only lays 1 egg a day, the man said, and the more money trickles away like water. We spend it as soon as we get it. You have to wait for the goose to lay more eggs. His wife went outside to the shed where they kept the goose. A heavy lock hung on the door, but inside the goose had every luxury. A satin cushion to sit on, fresh straw every day, and curtains on her windows. The woman looked at the goose, smiling at her and patting her on the head, and all the time she was thinking, I'm sure that goose is full of gold. It must be sitting in her belly, great big gobbets of it. If we cut her open, we'll get all the gold at once. That night she told her husband her plan. Let's go while she's asleep. We'll cut her open and we'll grab all the gold. She won't feel a thing and we'll never have to wait for another egg. That's a brilliant idea, agreed the man, and they crept out into the night. They unlocked the goose's door and quickly cut her open. The woman let out a scream. There was no gold inside the goose, just meat and bone like any other bird. What will we do now? She asked, looking sorry for herself. There was nothing they could do. With no more goose, they had no more golden eggs. And with no golden eggs, they had no money to buy things. First their servants had to go, and then all their fine things. Jewels, furniture, even the paintings on the walls. Then the house itself had to be sold, and the man and his wife had nowhere to go but back to their tumble-down cottage in the woods. The woman kept her dresses, but they grew shabby and ragged, and soon all they had to remind them of their riches was the empty space on the cottage floor where their little white goose had once sat and laid her magical golden eggs. And the moral of that story? Be happy with what you have. In that story, the man and the woman were incredibly greedy, weren't they? The more things that they got, the more they wanted. They weren't happy with what they had. And they just wanted more and more. And they thought that more things would make them happy. They needed more possessions, more jewels, more money in order to be happy. Greed is not a very nice trait. It's not a very nice feeling either, is it, being greedy? But do you know what? Inside all of us, I think there's a little greedy monster. He hides inside all of us. And it comes out sometimes when it might be that you might want more food if you are at a party or you're having dinner and you just think, oh, I'll just have one more slice of cake. Or it might be when you just wish that you had more toys than you have already. When you want more. But actually, I want you to think about how can you stop your greedy monster from coming out? Because the man and the woman in this story, being greedy actually didn't help them in the end, did it? They were so greedy that they just couldn't wait. They were desperate to get more gold so they could buy more things. And in the end, it didn't pay off for them, did it? Greed wasn't a good quality to have. So if they had controlled their greedy monster and been a bit more patient, they may have carried on having a happier life. But what they also found was that all the things they thought they wanted to make them happy didn't actually make them happy. Have you ever found that? That you thought if you had more presents or more toys or new outfit, it would make you feel happy. But actually, do things really make you happy? Can things make you happy? Or are other things more important? What do you think? Right, well, that's the message I'm going to leave you with today. Be happy with what you have. Don't be greedy. Try and control that greedy monster inside you. And don't be like the old man and the old woman in this story, because for them, greed was not a good thing, was it? And money and gold wasn't all it had cracked up to be. Have a great day, Braywick. See you tomorrow. Bye.